duty crane. Alright, so this got quite a bit of wear. Look at the bronze showing on the bearings here, on all the rods. Yeah, they got a lot of wear on them. Okay, I'm gonna pull the cam out of it. Well, I'm reusing these cam followers, and you know, I just want the cam followers reinstalled back into the engine. You know, if I was putting new cam followers and new cam in it, wouldn't matter, but I kind of like to keep these in order if I can. Sometimes I don't because I forget to. And anyways, but simple piece of cardboard, just cut some X's in it with your pocket knife and take the followers, and left to right, I just numbered a few of them. You can kind of get it 1 through 8s on the bottom and 9 through 12s on the top. I went and got the service calls done and got one liner out. I had to make a plate. I used to have I had a puller with all thread on it with a foot, and I was gonna just make another foot, but I forgot. That liner puller ended up in somebody's shop, and I left it there and we never could find it again. I had that thing for years too. Anyways, I made a foot and I just beat it out of the bottom. I'll show you. I'm welding it right now, so let me put the camera over here somewheres. You just got to be careful. I'm using 6011, and I'm kind of just starting at the bottom, and just, you know, who gives a shit what it looks like? It's weld to bead. Don't turn your welder up too high. You know, I'm at 84 amps, so it's probably a little bit, I don't know, it's welding all right. You don't want to go too hot and go through the liner and weld into the bore. You know, you don't want to get into the boards. You can see here it's nice and smooth and clean after I welded on it. And there's nothing in the bottom of the engine. I like to do it with the bottom down. It's kind of a little bit easier to weld from the bottom with it flip side up, but I don't like doing that. I don't want any slag on anything down in there. So that's what I'm trying to really avoid. Physically hear the liner popping as it shrinks. That weld bead will shrink that liner up. If you're a worry wart, this is not a procedure for you. let her cool down. That way she shrinks up to maximum, the maximum, and then we'll beat it out of there. Yeah, I can hear it popping already. It's shrinking up. I can still hear it. I can still hear it shrinking up. I mean, it doesn't pay to get in a big hurry when you're doing it this way. And I know what the naysayers are going to say. I've never done one on this 8065 engine, but I was counting them the other day. I know that I've done at least 11 354 Perkins, the old 1075 bell wagons, New Holland bell wagons. Look that up. Those had 354 Perkins in them. And they had dry liners like this, and I did a ton of those things, and this is the way that I did them. I had that puller that I had a foot kind of like this, and then I would come out with all thread. That was the only difference, which I don't have the puller right now. But I made this foot, this nice little foot that fits just right on there. So let's just see what happens here. See if this thing will come out in a reasonably decent fashion. Trying to find what I did with my hammer. You know what? I got me an idea. Air hammer. All right. Oh, my liner's hitting on the bottom down there. No, it's out. Hot? No, it's cooled down. But there you go, guys. There's a dry liner removal. So now I'm going to explain something to you. There's what they call a finished liner and a non-finished liner. So I called the only people that I could get this through was ag kits. Nobody else could get anything. So on the Perkins that I used to do all the time, as you can see here, we didn't go through the liner anywhere. There's no weld going into the bore. So these are like a 1/1000th press fit. They're tight and they're really tight. I'll tell you what I used to do on the Perkins. So I did the same thing on the Perkins. The Perkins though was not, see, this is almost like a repair sleeve to where you would bore the parent bore engine out, and then if you wanted to go back to standard size you would put the sleeve in there. So, but anyway, talking to ag kits, and the sleeves they sell that they have available is what they call a non-finished liner. And let me explain what a finished liner. A finished liner, the Perkins, the 354 Perkins actually had a flange, almost kind of like a wet liner does for a counter bore. They had a flange, and there was a little bit of a counter bore in the block deck surface, And what you did after you pulled those out, I pulled them out the same way. Those were a finished liner, which means that they were already bored to size, and they would fit the pistons you were putting in there. A non-finished liner is not fit to the piston. It has to be installed into the engine and then bored and honed to fit your piston. So that being said, I called Kerry at the machine shop, and I said, I was talking to him about this engine. He goes, yeah, that's kind of an oddball engine. We just don't see any of them, and these guys, that's all they do, Diesel Cast West, is work on diesel engines. And machine shop. And he said, well, you know, we can't even really pull them out. We don't have the tooling to pull those sleeves out. He said, we've got sleeves, dry liner pullers for other engines, but not for that one. I said, well, I can get it out. And I told him what I did, and he goes, wow, that's okay. If you can get them out, we can put them in. The way that I used to put them in on the Perkins, because they were a finished liner, if this was a finished liner, I would just put them in myself, is I'd get a big cooler full of dry ice from the machine shop up in town, and I'd let all those liners sit in that dry ice for a while till they got real good and cold. And then, being you had a counterbore and a flange on the liner, which you do not have on this one, most of the time they would just drop right in till they seated up, and then you just let them swell up again after they warmed up. Sometimes you'd have to get a block of wood and kind of finish them off and get them the rest of the way in there. I've had them stick, and I've had them break on me before halfway in, and had to break them the rest of the way out and beat them back out of there and get a new liner before too. But if you don't know what a dry liner is, a wet liner has O-rings either in the block or in the liner itself to keep the coolant. Wait a second, trying to think if I had any liners laying around. Okay, my SD card was full. So anyways, on a wet liner, you're either going to have you're going to have O-rings either on the liner or on the block to seal the water between like here and here to keep the liner cool. Okay, on a dry liner type setup, which is what we've got here. And see, I don't think this is even really well, kind of it is, but the water, how can I explain this? The water, see where the water goes around here into the block? That's what cools it right there. It's just a bore. It's basically a parent bore, almost like a gas engine, without, you know, if I'm explaining that right. It's basically a parent bore with this sleeve in there. You know, that's what a dry liner is. If I had a wet line, I think I might have some wet liners, but you guys have seen me do the O-rings on the wet liners before. But anyways, that's the skinny on that. Just, you know, if somebody tells you can't do one of these, bullshit. I've done tons of them. So anyways, hopefully that'll help some of you guys out that run into some of the old 671s. I think were dry liners, some of the Detroits. I've done a few of those. But I mean, you do kind of have to go through quite a bit of welding rod, I have to admit, and keep going around. This particular engine here, I mean, I didn't have a choice when the machine shop tells me they can't even pull them out, and I said, well, I can get them bastards out of there. But crank is in good shape. So I'm going to get the other 4 liners out tomorrow morning. It's been about a 14-hour day today, and I've had enough. And this one here, I'll probably be back with you when it's going to be a while. I mean, we'll order the parts, and then we'll have to wait. I got to get the rest of this block completely stripped down to bare block, and then send it up there to the machine shop, the head. And that was the other thing I had to get for the machine shop. I had to get the injector tubes. This one doesn't have coppers that go on in the injector. It's got coppers tubes that those injectors seat up on. And then I had to get the valves and the springs, and had to get the guides. and all that stuff for him because they couldn't. The machine shop said he didn't have a source for them, but Ted there at Ag Kit said he could get them. So, anyways, it's just this one's going to be a pain in the butt because it's just an oddball. You know, there's Iveco is not really an oddball now since they put them in the newer Case Internationals and the New Hollands, but it's an oddball in the sense of it's an older Iveco or however in the hell you say it, and it came out of a Fiat. So, anyways, hopefully this helps you out a little bit. I know that all the naysayers, they can go pound sand and stick it right up their ass. Anyways, talk to you later.